It's saying it's unavailable.
It's saying unavailable?
Retry it again.
Lisa, who you logged in as? You have to be logged in under LO Schools.
Well, I'm using the YouTube link that we have on the district webpage. That people are going to be using.
No, it's just the,
Yeah, well, so if you go there and you click on the live one at the top, it takes you there.
Okay.
Cause that's how I just got to it.
Mine said video unavailable.
You're not logged into YouTube then. I don't know why it's not showing as public.
I've never had to run.
I know, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it's just saying, it says now live. Do it
Yeah.
out.
okay, now I'm on.
But
Lisa
you're
can't, but
probably
I-
logged in though. Lisa, you're not logged into YouTube as you, right?
Pledge of Allegiance, if you would stand with me. And Mr. Size, would you please lead the pledge?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. We are on to item C, the announcement of the meeting. Mrs. Chavez, would you please announce the meeting?
This meeting has been announced in accordance with the New Mexico Open Meetings Act and the Los Lunas Schools Open Meetings Resolution and is a legally constituted meeting of the Los Lunas Schools Board of Education.
Thank you very much. We're on to item D, approval of the agenda. Mrs. Chavez, are there any changes or deletions to the agenda?
There are no changes or deletions to the agenda this evening.
I would stand for a motion regarding the approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Thank you, Mr. Talley, and from Mr. Bennett. Mr. Talley has moved and Mr. Bennett has seconded to approve the agenda as submitted. Do we have any discussion? Having no discussion, I will call for the vote. Mr. Talley,
Yes.
Mr. Vickers,
Yes.
Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Mrs. Simoia.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion passes 5-0. We're on item F. Or E, I'm sorry, report on the closed executive session. As announced, the Los Lunas Schools Board of Education went into closed executive session this afternoon, June 3rd, 2025, from 4:58 p.m. to 5:53 p.m. for limited personnel matters, specifically contract negotiations for the superintendent for fiscal year 25-26 and fiscal year 26-27 pursuant to New Mexico statutes annotated 1978, 10-15-1H2. I attest that no other topics were discussed than those listed in the motion and that no action was taken during the closed executive session. I am on item F. Action as needed regarding discussion in closed executive session. Does any board member have a motion that they would like to make regarding anything that occurred in closed executive session? Having no motions, I will move on to item G, the approval of consent items. I would stand for a motion regarding the consent item.
Madam President,
Yes.
I would move that we discuss consent item L, approval of professional services agreement, the PSA for Laura M. Castile Esquire.
Okay. So we do not have a motion regarding the consent item. We'll leave it as item L on the agenda. So no action on item G. We are on to item H, discussion and approval of the superintendent's contract effective July 1st, 2025.
Madam President,
Yes, Mrs. Simoia.
if I may, during the board work session, myself and Dr. Wazowski was tasked by the board members to develop the superintendent contract working with Ms. Chavez. And so we undertook that task. Thank you, Ms. Wazowski, for your typing skills and length of typing skills. This has been vetted. We presented now in closed executive session so that all of the board members could actually purview the superintendent's contract as it was generated. There are a couple of items I do want to call attention to in creating the document that are now listed in the contract for reasons, basically prior contracts, legal requirements, documentation we thought were pertinent to include in the contract. Per the work session for the superintendent's contract, all the items that were expressed by the board members were included in the content of the contract. These are some additional features that we called attention to your attention during the closed executive session, and I'd like to bring them to the public's attention now. The first one is the opportunity for a one-year extension beginning December 2026. As noted and voted on in the work session that we had regarding the superintendent's contract, we talked about a 2-year contract that would expire basically in June of 2027. It came to our attention that December of 2026, our superintendent would have less than 6 months remaining on the contract. So at that point in time, we wanted to give the board the opportunity to extend a 1-year contract extension at that point, based upon support.
Madam President,
Yes.
may I do a correction? We didn't vote on that during the work session.
No.
It was discussed and it was voted later during the actual meeting, correct? The 2-year contract.
The 2-year contract was actually voted on the meeting, at our last meeting.
Yes, 'cause
And
we
the
did not
2-year
vote
contract,
on it in the work session.
you bet.
In closed executive.
Enclosed, I'm sorry. Yes, it was actually voted on in the work session meeting that we had. But the extension, the 1-year extension was not included and discussed. So it is in the contract that you reviewed now in the closed executive session. Thank you for that clarification, Mr. Bennett. So I want to call that to your attention. Another item basically is employment requirements. We wanted to go ahead and make sure that the language, we took basically the employment requirements from language from previous superintendent's contracts. It kind of basically outlines, the job, the task. This wasn't discussed in in the previous meeting that we voted on with items, but we do feel that the language is pertinent. It is in the document that you reviewed in closed executive session. So wanted to make you aware of that. Another thing was the language called expectations of the superintendent. There is extensive language in there. We have done this to protect the district. We have done this to specifically outline the expectations for the superintendent. You don't know what you're supposed to be doing unless it's written out there for you. So we're going to go ahead and assist Ms. Chavez any way we can. There is a subset language that we did include in there regarding the expectations. And this is language regarding the recording and videotaping of communication with individual board members will not be accepted behavior. And so
Any person.
any person,
person.
any person in the district will not be an accepted behavior. So we did specifically outline that. And again, that language will be in your contract. Likewise, we added some language regarding board behavior. We think it's only appropriate to set that expectation. We expect this of the superintendent. In return, the superintendent can expect certain behavior from the board. So we're holding ourselves accountable to our code of ethics as well. So wanted to let the public know that. We also talked about working conditions. This is generally not outlined. We feel there's a specific need to outline the language on the working conditions. Basically the hours of work. We mentioned in the previous work session that we do want, when the superintendent is conducting business in the district, that she should be in a vehicle, a district vehicle insured by the district. We also want that vehicle to be appropriate. If it's just her and she's driving all over the district, she doesn't need to have the Suburban, something economical. We want to go ahead and be conscientious of that as well. The vehicle, we did stipulate, will be tagged with GPS, which cannot be removed, please. So we wanted to go ahead and let her know that. We also addressed any time away from the district and the procedural opportunities that Ms. Chavez should take, expected to take when she is outside of the district. And then finally, again, we're holding ourselves accountable. We did put an evaluation cycle language in there. We talked about the evaluation cycle during our open work session. It is the language that we typed up, is in the contract for you to peruse. An evaluation cycle basically will allow the superintendent to know how she's performing. September, December, March, with an annual appraisal in June. And that gives the superintendent and the board, 4 annual opportunities basically to evaluate where we're at, where we're going, how we're getting there, and that the expectations are being met. So I did want to share that with all the board members and with the public. If there are any questions about the language or the documentation, all of it is in the document that you were able to review now in closed executive session.
Thank you very much. Is there? We agreed at the last meeting that the final form would be brought back to the board for their review. Is there any other discussion that board members would like to have at this time? Okay, good enough. We will move on to item I.
So do we have to vote that?
We need to approve the contract.
We need to
Okay.
approve the
I
contract.
apologize.
Yep.
Do I stand for a motion to approve the contract as it was presented and reviewed?
Dr. Osowski, I move that we approve the contract for the Ms. Chavez for the superintendent as discussed both in the previous board meeting and tonight.
Thank you very much.
Second.
And Mr. Bennett, you seconded. Thank you very much. Is there any discussion? I'm going to call for the vote. Mr. Talley, this is your motion.
Yes.
Mr. Vickers,
Yes.
Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Mrs. Simoia,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Item I, announcement of vacated position for single member district number 7. I am going to read a prepared statement. This was in your drop box. Notice of Los Lunas Schools Board of Education member vacancy, district number 1. Notice is hereby given that the position representing single member district number 1 of the Los Lunas Schools Board of Education has been vacated, effective Wednesday, June 4th, 2025. The remaining members of the Los Lunas Schools Board of Education will fill this vacancy within 45 days from the date of the vacancy, and that deadline date will occur on, or the the date of the vacancy is June 4th, 2024, which is Saturday, and then close by Saturday, July 19th, 2025. You can refer to New Mexico statutes annotated section 22-5-12 and Los Angeles Schools Board of Education policy B0450, board member resignation. The individual selected and appointed by the board will fill the single member District Number 1 term until it expires on Wednesday, December 31st, 2025. The single member District Number 1 position will be listed as on the ballot for the next regular election, which will be held on Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. Any registered qualified voter who resides in the Los Angeles Schools Board of Education, single member District Number 1, must submit the documents that will need to be approved by the board to the Office of the Superintendent, which is located at 119 Luna Avenue, Los Angeles, New Mexico, 87031, phone number 505-865-9636, no later than 4:00 p.m. on Monday, July 8th, 2025, to be considered by the Los Angeles Schools Board of Education. Note, Los Angeles Schools will be closed on July 4th, 2025. Any informational packet, an informational packet may be picked up from the Office of the Superintendent at the aforementioned address. Late or incomplete packets will immediately disqualify an applicant. In the notice, and we went back and used the same requirements that we did for single member District Number 2, which is now filled by Mrs. Sonia Simoya. The board at that time asked for a letter of interest that included a narrative statement of the candidate's reasons for seeking the position, a list of qualities or skills which the candidate would bring to the Los Angeles Schools Board of Education, which will serve the educational mission of the school district, that at the time of submitting the letter of interest, the individual intends to remain in the Los Angeles Schools Board of Education, single member District Number 1 for the remainder of the term, which again is through Wednesday, December 31st, 2025. A declaration that the physical address provided in the letter of interest is their permanent legal residence. A statement of willingness to participate in a public interview process or public forum, which the board may call to obtain additional information about the individual's credentials, and the names and current contact information for at least 3 character references. We also asked for at least one example of the physical address as verification of the permanent physical residence. An example is a utility statement with the candidate's name and the physical address included. We also asked for a notarized statement that the individual has not been convicted of a felony or a misdemeanor involving moral turpitude. Questions or concerns were then addressed directly to me via electronic communication and my district email, which was mosowski@llschools.net. So we've announced the vacated position to be effective June 4th. And in here for item J, discussion and approval of the details and timelines to fill the vacated position, I'd like to review just one more time so we could call for a motion and then go into discussion. First of all, the position becomes available tomorrow, June 4th. We have 45 days to fill this vacancy. 45 days ends on Saturday, July 19th. A suggested timeline would be that we accept letters of interest and the other required documents by 4:00 p.m. on Monday, July 8th.
Dr. Wasowski?
Sir? Yeah.
It's been brought to my attention that July 8th is a Tuesday.
Well, it is a Tuesday? Okay, great. Well, we'll take that. We could either go Monday, July 7th or Tuesday, July 8th.
Well, I think that still needs to be discussed before
Right.
we give actual
Right,
dates.
so let me just put Monday, July 7th, so we can correct something. And then we could host or because we have to make the decision, or it reverts to the decision is made by the Secretary of Education from the Public Education Department. So, we could do one of two. Well, let's take this in 2 different parts. The first part would be the timeline, and then let's talk about the required contents.
We need to make a motion first.
Yes, so that's where I'm talking about. Let's take it in 2 separate parts. So the first part would be a timeline. So for the purpose of getting the discussion started, I move that we accept applications up to Monday, July 7th, 2025, closing no later than 4:00 PM, and for the application packets to be received in the office of the superintendent.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Tally. Is there discussion?
Yes, Madam?
Sir?
We're on item J.
Yes, we are on item J. Item K was the announcement, and item J is now discussing the,
Yeah,
Details.
Madam President, I would like to suggest we shorten that timeline. We got a lot of work to be done coming up to summer and with retreats and training and stuff that's necessary. I'd like to see that we post it for 10 days as we do for an employment position here. And that way we can get it there and possibly have a decision by the end of this month with our actual board meeting.
okay, so 10 days from tomorrow, 10 calendar days.
10 calendar days.
And Madam Chair, I agree with that because I will be out of pocket starting July 8th
Great.
and will not be able to.
So for clarification, Mr. Bennett and Mr. Vickers, you're both saying we open it beginning Wednesday,
Mhm.
June 4th, through,
Friday the 13th?
um,
You're saying that's Friday the
I
13th?
actually say Saturday the 14th because everything's done online anyway, so we can get.
well, no, the notarized statement
Okay,
has
just
to
go-
be received in
Okay, just-
office by 4:00 PM. So 10 calendar days,
Friday the 3rd.
Friday, the 13th.
Well, there you go. They can get it in sooner.
So Dr. Wasowski, I understand the urgency.
Okay.
And I understand what Mr. Min is saying. I know the interest in this position also is not high. Maybe 10 days would be enough. I don't know if 10 days is gonna be enough for the community to even. I've tried talking to people to see if I could find a replacement. There is very little interest in this position. So 10 days, it would be great in 10 days, but in 10 days from now, you may have nobody.
Well, then at that point, we could extend it.
Okay, I just. food
With
for thought.
the fact that no one applies within the 10-day period, then I agree. We could extend it
Okay,
So the next question would
because
be,
we have 45 days to fill the position.
correct, we do.
Well, on this motion, because you only have one
Right,
motion.
right. But I just want you to be thinking about then what do we do with that? Because then we would have to have a special meeting. Let's see, Friday, the next finance meeting is on the
June
15th,
12th, I
June-
believe,
At the 12th,
June 12th.
June 12th. So then,
gonna be the
but,
day before,
okay, but we have,
Board
the
meeting.
next board meeting is,
the 24th.
see, we would have to call for a special meeting right after that, because otherwise we would have to change these dates. So would the board, I mean, I'm thinking, I know that our motion is about the
Mhm.
opening, but I need us to think a step out from that.
Mhm.
So we would need to have a special board meeting on Tuesday, June
17th,
17th,
the week before.
to
Seventh
understand what our
or July?
status is, or to extend
June.
this,
17th.
So-
Or to approve a candidate.
or to approve a
Mhm.
candidate. But I know Mr. Tally's not here. What would everybody's availability be for Tuesday, June 17th? Because we're still just in the discussion phase of this motion.
I'm good.
I'm good.
You're Bennett,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Are you here?
I don't have my phone with me. So,
Oh.
yes. Yes, so we
Okay,
will
so
let you
I'm
know.
here.
Mhm.
So, okay.
Mhm.
So the motion is to open the opportunity for a candidate to apply beginning tomorrow, June 4th, and close it at 4:00 PM on Friday, June 13th, 2025.
Do you want to amend your motion? Because your motion right now has it closing on July 19th.
Oh, that is correct.
Mhm.
I will amend my motion. So
Correct.
I will amend my
Okay.
motion.
And Mr. Collier is there.
Okay.
I will amend my motion to open the application window beginning Wednesday, June 4th, and closing on Friday, June 13th, 2025 at 4:00 PM.
I'll amend my second.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? I will call for the vote. It's my motion. I'll start it. I vote yes. Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Mr. Tally,
Yes.
Mr. Vickers,
Yes.
Mrs. Simoia.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Now, the second motion, which I will make for the purposes of discussion and moving this along, are the requirements for a candidate to submit to the board to be considered. And I would like to go back through those again. That the candidate, an interested candidate, submit a letter of interest that includes a narrative statement of the candidate's reasons for seeking the position, the qualities or skills which the candidate would bring to the Los Angeles Schools Board of Education, which will serve the educational mission of the school district, a statement in that letter of interest that the candidate intends to remain in the Los Angeles Schools Board of Education single-member District Number 1 for the remainder of the term, which is through Wednesday, December 31st, 2025. A statement or a declaration that the physical address provided on the letter of interest is their permanent legal residence, and a statement of willingness to participate in a public interview process or public forum, which the board may call to obtain additional information about the individual's credentials, the names and current contact information for at least 3 character references. Those can be all in the letter of interest. Additionally, at least 1 example of the physical address as verification of their physical address. An example is a utility statement with his or her name, and a notarized statement that the individual has not been convicted of a felony or a misdemeanor involving moral turpitude. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Tally. Is there any discussion? Having no discussion, I'm going to call for the vote. Mr. Vickers,
Yes.
Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Mr. Tally,
Yes.
Mrs. Simoia,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much. That was expedient. I appreciate that very much. We're on item K, which is the approval of delegation of authority specifically for board members to work with the superintendent's office to finalize informational packets, finalize notices and post said notices, receive and collate applications for board, and answer questions as they arrive. The purpose of this is for the board to be comfortable with persons reviewing information as it comes in earlier, making sure all notices are meeting the board's intention, and that if packets are incomplete, et cetera, that they're being disqualified. So that's the purpose of this, is to make sure that the board can delegate who they would like to be looking at these items in addition. Is there a motion
Madam
to approve
I'm sorry.
the board authority? Yes.
Madam President, for clarification, this approval of delegation of authority is specific to the vacated position.
That is
filling-
correct.
Okay, because the
Only
language
to the vacant position.
regarding only the vacated position.
Correct.
Madam President,
Yes, Mrs. Simoia.
I wish to approve and delegate authority specific to the vacated board position, specifically to yourself, Dr. Ozowski, to work with the superintendent's office to finalize informational packets, finalize notices, post said notices, and receive and collate applications for the board and answer any questions as they may arise.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Thank you, Mrs. Simoia. Mrs. Simoia has moved and Mr. Bennett has seconded the motion to approve and delegate myself to work specifically on the vacated board position for single member District Number 1, to work with the superintendent's office to finalize informational packets, finalize notices and post said notices, receive and collate applications for the board, and answer questions as they arise. Is there any discussion? Having no discussion, I will call for the vote. Mr. Vickers,
Yes.
Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Mr. Tally,
Yes.
Mrs. Simoia.
Yes.
And I vote yes, motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much. And we are now on to item L, approval of the professional services agreement, the PSA for Laura M. Castile Esquire. Do I have a motion to approve the PSA for Laura M. Castile? For purposes of discussion, I will move to approve the PSA for Laura M. Castile Esquire to provide legal services to the board. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Dr. Ozowski, the reason I dissented this is have not been privy to a copy of the agreement and would like to be able to preview it before I approve it and consent it.
That sounds perfectly reasonable. Is there any other discussion?
Dr. Wasowski, is this just, so we have these PSAs. She's been providing services for us. Is this just to renew another?
She has left, that's a great question. So PSAs typically go from July 1 to June 30th anyway.
Okay,
So the PSA that we have been under for Ms. Castile to provide legal counsel to the board is quickly coming to an end. Additionally, Ms. Castile has left the Cuddy McCarthy Law Firm and she is now on her own. So the PSA would be
with her,
an
not with,
extension, but just with her, not also as a part of the Cuddy McCarthy. So, and we did receive via email her PSA. And I am happy to send that around by email so that all of you can review it. And then I think also it would be good to ask Mrs. Chavez to have persons in the business office review the PSA to see if there's something that we should be looking for, just as a double check. And we can bring this up.
and then just for more information, I'm assuming that is this to the cap that we can approve, or is there another dollar amount that we would approve?
No, this is up to no more than $59,999.
And 99
cents. Yes.
Okay.
No more than that. So
Okay.
otherwise, yeah, it's just a PSA. It's not an RFP.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. Good clarification. I appreciate that.
And then Dr. Ozowski, do you happen to know if Ms. Castile has secured CES contracting arrangements so that we're getting a specific rate for her services?
I do not know that, but that is a question I'm happy to ask her in email.
Okey-doke, thank you.
Absolutely. And make sure that she responds to all the board members with that answer.
Okey-doke.
So I'm happy to do that. So I am going to amend my motion to table the approval of the professional services agreement for Laura M. Castile. And I will bring it,
My second.
you'll amend your second.
Yes.
Is there any discussion on tabling? I will call for the vote. Mr. Tally,
Yes.
Mr. Vickers,
Yes.
Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Mrs. Simoia,
Yes, please.
and I vote yes. We have tabled this. Motion passes 5-0. We are on item M, the announcement of meetings. This brings us to the announcement of meetings as allowed by the Open Meetings Act and the District Open Meetings Resolution. On occasion, a quorum of the board members attend the same function, including school and district celebrations and ceremonies, as well as sports functions, conferences, workshops, trainings, and community events. Board members will refrain from discussing and or acting on Los Angeles Schools Board of Education issues in those settings. In addition, only official meetings are published, and if other meetings are scheduled, they will be announced in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. With that being said, I would like to announce the following meetings. June 5 through 7, 2025, New Mexico School Boards Association 46th Annual School Law Conference, which will be held at the Embassy Suites, 1000 Woodward Place Northeast, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 87102. This is for training purposes only. No decisions will be made, and a quorum of the board may be in attendance. On June 12th, 2025, the Audit Committee meeting, which will be held in the Central Office Conference Room Attendance is by invitation only, and the time will occur at 3:00 PM. Also, on June 12th, 2025, the Finance Committee meeting, which will be held in the Central Office Conference Room beginning at 4:00 PM. We will have a special meeting of the board to be held on Tuesday, June 17th, 2025 at 6:00 PM. The agenda, the number one agenda item will be to review the candidates who have applied for the vacancy in single member district number 1 and to take action as necessary. And then on June 24th, 2025, a regular board meeting, which will be held in the central office boardroom at 6:00 PM.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr.
what time was that 17th?
6:00 PM. We are on item N.
Dr.
Yes.
Osowski,
Sir,
Robert's Rules of Order say that you can move to adjourn at any time. So I move that we adjourn.
Let's not second. Let's not second. Silence.
item N.
I had to
Nice-
try.
Nice try, nice try. It is with regret, Mr. Talley, that we are offering you a small token of our appreciation for your service as a board member representing single member district number 1. We will miss you. We will miss your energy and your frankness. We will miss your enthusiasm, and we will also miss your sincere interest to see the educational program offered in Los Lunas to be the best that it can be for the students in this community. So I want to say personally that I will miss you, and that I believe that you came here with a true servant's heart, hoping and striving to provide for our students in our community. I'm going to give the other board members a moment, and then I'm going to give you a little plaque here, whether you like it or not. And we're going to take a picture with you. So.
Yeah, Mr. Tully, just want to thank you a lot. I mean, you had a great impact with this board, with this district. You brought a lot of knowledge and fun. It was wonderful working for you, and I know everything you did was better this district, and I truly appreciate you.
Thank you.
I just want to say that, it's been good getting to know you, and you provide for a different perspective from other members, so there's always good discussion and give and take, and you were very valuable to this board. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you. You were a participant in these board meetings long before you actually sat as a board member. And so I really appreciate you actually stepping up as a parent, coming, presenting, and your involvement in not only just the community, but the board. We hope to be able to tap you for other services with the board as well. So don't go far. Don't change your number. Well, we're gonna miss your wife's cooking.
Okay. Join me for a moment. Yeah. We've got a plaque prepared for you, which it says it's presented to Justin Talley this 3rd day of June, 2025, in recognition of your dedication and service as a member of the Los Lunas Schools Board of Education from 2024 to 2025. Thank you very much. Join me, please.
Oh, please, really?
Come on. Yeah.
We have to pretend like we like.
We have to pretend like we like each other.
That foundation.
Hey.
Yeah, there's gonna be a foundation position. Thank you,
Got it.
guys.
Great.
Appreciate it. All right, yeah, there we go.
Here you go, Mr. Mullen. You can put that in your new home. Hopefully you have a nice, great big office. We're on item O,
Dr. Osowski.
sir.
Thank you, and thank you to the board. I have enjoyed most of the time. It had, we've been up and down. It's been interesting, and it's been a learning and growing experience. I've appreciated interacting with all of you. I want the Los Lunas School District to know they are in good hands. I truly believe that each one of you has the best interest of the district in your heart. It's been rough. It's been interesting, but it's also been fun. And Ms. Chavez, I'm excited to see how things progress. I have high hopes for you, and I know the board has high hopes for you. Los Lunas will be premier district.
I agree. Thank you, Mr. Tully, for everything. Thank you for your service to our district. It's not easy to be a board member. And at times very challenging, and it does take away from your family. So thank you for spending your Tuesdays with us.
Thank you.
Yes.
That brings me to item O, adjournment. This leads us to the adjournment of the meeting. I would stand for a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Mr. Bennett. You want some more cake? Is there a second? I second. I'm going to take the vote, please. Mr. Tally.
You
for
didn't
your
leave room for
final-
discussion.
There's discussion on adjourning. No. Mr. Tally, for your final vote.
Yes.
Vote. Mr. Vickers,
Yes.
Mr. Bennett.
Yes.
Mrs. Simoia.
Yes.
I vote yes, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, guys.
6:45 or 6:46 PM.
That is, I think.